friends. Welcome to the LeggLife Podcast. My name is Adam.
My name is Sherry.
Sherry Beth, what episode is this?
152.
And we missed a week.
We sure did.
So you guys, last week we woke up on Saturday
at like 10 a.m.
and it was like, oh no.
10 a.m. Alaska, which is, I mean, we usually post at 6 a.m. Alaska, our podcast, and we were both like, And I think you even said, is it too late to record and post a podcast?
I was like, Sherry.
As we're laying in bed. And I was like,
Sherry, remember that podcast we were supposed to post 4 hours ago? Is it too late to do that?
Whoops.
Sorry, friends. We'd been doing so good. And not only did we miss an episode here, but gosh, we missed 2 vlogs on YouTube this week.
Yeah, we did.
Life has been insane.
It's been very busy.
And we talked about that on a recent video as far as our travel. You know, over the last... I was in Fairbanks 2 weeks ago. I was in Juneau last week. You were in Fairbanks last week. I'm heading to Sitka in a couple of days. And then when we're home, like, we had friends staying with us for 2 weeks and just life. We had,
like, one of our friends was actually here when we weren't. When I was in Fairbanks and you were in Juneau, she was here. So it's like, man, like, life has just been busy.
And here's the thing. We actually recorded a vlog last weekend. That was going to go up on Wednesday, but I didn't have time to edit it. Then I was going to post it on Friday. Didn't have time to edit it. So we will post it next Monday. But it'll be like a week. It'll be like a week and a day.
After we actually vlogged it.
Which is strange because we normally don't do that.
I know.
Most of our stuff is pretty real time.
Well, and even last night, it was like, 11:30?
Yeah.
When we got home last night and you were like, dang it, I still haven't edited that vlog. And so last night was Thursday, and that was the plan, was to get it up Friday since we missed it Wednesday. And it was just like, well, it's not happening now. No, and I do think that it's a really good thing that we don't pressure ourselves just to make it happen. Because you used to. There were so many times that it was like 1 a.m. and you're up editing, even though you have to be up for work the next day.
Yeah, so I think we're in a healthier rhythm when it comes to content and YouTube and podcasts.
Yeah.
When we need to say no, we feel like we have the freedom to say no, which is honestly really nice.
It is, yeah.
We are going to catch you up in this episode. We're not talking about anything necessarily specific. We've got a bunch of random topics that we're going to work through. You guys, we're going to talk about everything from Valentine's Day to spam. If that doesn't hook you.
Spam like the meat, not the
not like email spam.
Not the trash emails, yeah.
Oh my gosh. So let's walk you through some stuff that you're not going to see on vlogs because we didn't vlog. Yesterday, we went to see the production of Hadestown Teen Edition.
Oh my goodness. It was put on by West High School.
So that's the high school that I went to.
Yep.
And West has many times been recognized as one of the best high school theater departments in the country.
Right.
Last night proved why.
Correct. They did freaking Hadestown and killed it. High school students with these big songs and like, my goodness.
The hands down, there's not even a close second, best high school theater performance I've ever seen.
I think so, yeah. Like, so good.
In fact, some of the leads, Sherry and I, when we walked away, we were saying like, I hope that either they continue to pursue theater or music of some kind.
Right. The kid who played Orpheus. Holy crap. One of the best, like, voices, and not just for high school. Like, he had an incredible voice.
If he one day
carried those songs.
If he one day went on to play Orpheus
on Broadway
in Hadestown, wouldn't shock me.
Not even a little bit. I was actually thinking about that. I was like, is he going to graduate this year and just, like, immediately go to, like... Juilliard, because he needs to. Like, he was incredible. It was
just showing this weekend.
Yeah.
So glad we went. We do try to go, not just because it was, high school I went to, but they do such a good job, and we always enjoy going. I love supporting my old school. Mm-hmm. So whenever they do plays, we try to go. We went and saw, they did The Never Ending Story. Last fall. It was so fun.
It was so good. Yeah, it was like the musical version, and that's a movie that we grew up watching, and so it was so fun to see it on stage with songs. Like, it was a blast. It was a blast.
So we did that. Our friends who stayed with us, it was a good trip. They weren't up here. It wasn't a vacation. It wasn't time off. They were up here for some family stuff. So we weren't sure how much we were going to get to see them or spend time with them. And we actually did get to spend more time than I expected with them.
Yep, I agree. And it was great.
It really was great.
Lots of great conversation. And
we just love them. They feel like family to us.
They are family.
So it was nice to have them here in the house.
Yep.
House is back now. It's just us. Today, as we're recording this, is Valentine's Day.
Yes, it is.
So we have done our celebrations, and I actually feel like we had a really nice Valentine's Day.
I agree. We didn't do like the fancy dinner. We had discussed for a hot second doing like a staycation kind of somewhere in Alaska, not in Anchorage, because it's not super relaxing if we can still like run home.
Yeah, that's true.
So, there's kind of something about like being far enough away from home that it feels like a vacation. But then, this trip in Sitka kind of came up. And so you have to leave super early Sunday morning. So the staycation for the weekend kind of went away. But man, I do feel like we had a good day.
So you were off work at 3 o'clock today.
I was. It's a short day.
So I kind of planned my day to be done at least by 3, and I was done before 3, which was great. And then we went and ran one final work errand for you.
Yep.
And then we went to a place here in town called the Indigo Tea Lounge. It's been around actually for a while. It's this great, very cool, comfortable space that serves out like 150 different teas, which is crazy.
Right.
And I said, you know what? Let's bring our books, because it's normally pretty chill. Let's bring our books. Let's just go there. Let's get a couple pots of tea and just sit and read our books and just like have a chill tea book reading afternoon.
It was delightful, but it was we were not the only ones who decided to do this.
No, well, so we weren't the only ones who decided to go there. One of the things this place has is they have like tea service, so you can bring your friends or a group. And there were a couple groups there that were having that. So it was definitely louder than I've heard it in there before.
Yeah, there was a big group with like moms and kids, which was so cute.
They were so cute.
It was so cute. They were having like tea and snacks, and it was adorable.
Yep.
But very loud. So it was less relaxing. But I do think going on like, a midday weekend or something might be a little less busy.
Because when I've gone during the day, like to work from there, many times I'm the only person. Like there's literally not anybody else in there. I just think that tonight was first Valentine's Day.
Right.
And the guy did tell me, I don't know if you heard this, I think you did. He was talking about how tomorrow they're slammed because it's Saturday. And so a lot of people are coming in for like Valentine's weekend tea service tomorrow. So he said tomorrow they're slammed.
Oh, so not just like Saturday in general, but like specifically tomorrow, Saturday, because it's like Valentine's kind of stuff.
Exactly.
Got it.
And so I think that if we were to go like midweek in evening or just kind of like during the day, much quieter.
Because it was the first time I'd been there.
What were your thoughts?
It's so nice. And I do think that if it's not like super busy, it would be a really great place to just hang out and read and like drink my tea. Delicious tea.
Yeah.
And they have a few tables, but most of the seating is like couches and squashy chairs and like kind of in like groupings so that it's like 2 or 3 people. And it's just very comfortable.
Yeah, so that was nice. That was kind of how we started our post-work Valentine's evening, was just relaxing, drinking tea, and reading. What a nice start, right?
It really was.
Then we were going to go to Tidal Wave, which is our big used bookstore. But as we were driving there, we passed Barnes & Noble, and I was like, you know what? Why go to one bookstore when you can go to 2 bookstores? So we...
That's why I love you.
So that's why you love me. That's the reason.
You turned into Barnes, and I was like, wait, this is not Tidal Wave.
It's
I was
Valentine's
like, I am not going
Day.
to complain.
I was going to say, it's Valentine's Day, and it's books, and it's you. So let's be honest.
Well,
so we went into Barnes & Noble unexpectedly, and you ended up leaving with...
I accidentally bought 3 books.
Whoops. They fell into your arms. I saw it happen.
They threw themselves right off the shelves at me.
I did see that.
Yep.
Rude of them.
Do
you remember off the top of your head the books you bought?
I got The Getaway List by Emma Lord.
Okay.
I got The Breakup Pact by Emma Lord. And I got book 3 of Heartstopper. I have 1, 2, 4, and 5, but
That's
I
hilarious.
did not have 3.
Now
So
you do.
Tidal Wave had 1, 2, 4, and 5, and so I just got 3 at Barnes.
That's awesome.
So now I have the complete set.
I didn't get anything there. Just kind of walked around. It was always fun. I love bookstores.
I love bookstores.
Then we left there and we went to Tidal Wave.
Yes, we
our
did.
used bookstore.
I accidentally bought 2 books there.
What books did you buy there? Because this is kind of fun.
I know. I got The Kiss Quotient and I got a blind date with a book.
Okay, let's talk about this, because if you guys don't know, the blind date with a book is sometimes you'll go into a bookstore and they have a book that's like wrapped in sometimes gift wrap or a paper bag, and you don't know what the book is, but it just gives you some hints on the cover.
Yeah, and so this one, I forget what the cover said, something like set in the 90s, tennis, and a determined female lead or something like that.
And so you're like, oh, that's $5. I'll give it a chance.
Yeah.
Now, you normally are not really a blind date with a book fan.
I'm not. I have gotten, this is, I think, probably my third.
Okay.
And I had one, actually, that was bought for me by my friend. And she, again, just kind of read it. And she was like, I hope that you like this. I don't know. We'll see. And it ended up being Caravel, and I freaking loved it.
Oh.
So, major win. I don't remember, what was the second one? I feel like it was a loss. And I was like, like I unwrapped it and I was like, oh, this does not sound like something I will enjoy.
But part of the problem with you is that, we've talked about this a lot before, you're a mood reader.
I am absolutely a mood reader.
And so you're the kind of person that a random book doesn't always work for you, because you have to be in a specific mood to read a specific book.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I forget what it was. I feel like I read the first couple of chapters and I was like, nah, not for me.
Okay, so the book you got tonight, though.
But the book I got tonight, oh gosh, now I'm forgetting what it's called.
I don't remember what it's called. The author was
Carrie Soto something.
It's about a tennis player.
Taylor Jenkins Reid.
Yep, that's the author.
Is the author.
And she also wrote the Seven Husbands of Emily Hugo. Wait.
Eleanor Hugo.
Eleanor Hugo. I don't know.
That book.
That book.
And she also wrote, dang it.
Another book.
Something Daisy and the Six.
Great.
Sure. Haven't read either one of those, but they're both on my want to read.
Do you feel like this tennis book, after reading the inside cover, is one you're going to read?
It's intriguing. Yeah.
I'm not convinced.
I'm not convinced either. I'm going to give it a try. I don't think that it's one that I would have just like picked up.
Yeah.
But this blind date with a book, so often, depending on the bookstore, it is like the actual cost of the book. Like the manufacturers, whatever. And so you're paying $15, $16, $20 for a book that you don't know if you're going to like. The way that Tidal Wave did it is actually they were all $5.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, so then that was actually like our conversation. I was like, man, if I don't like it, it's $5.
You're only out $5.
I'm out $5. So, and we had a gift card. So technically I was out $0.
One of the things that impressed me is that when Sherry opened the book, I went to Goodreads to look at it, and there were like, I don't know, 600,000 people that had reviewed it.
And it was almost exclusively 4 and 5 stars.
I think the average rating was like 4.2.
Yeah.
Which is very high.
Very high.
Especially for that many reviews.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I gotta say, I think that's a heck of a $5 book.
Yeah. And I'm definitely going to give it a try. I mean, the breakdown of the story kind of intrigued me. So, I mean, it sounds like it'll be a good story.
I think so, too. So
I'm excited.
Then we finished their second bookstore, and we were hungry. Didn't have Valentine's dinner plans. We ended up at a Vietnamese restaurant called Ray's Place.
Which we love.
Also, it was on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives.
Yes,
so you know that it's good. Whenever you get to spend Valentine's Day in Flavortown, you know that it is good.
Guy Fieri's stamp of approval.
Yeah, Valentine's Day stamp of approval by Guy Fieri. Dinner was amazing.
Yeah.
And now we're home. Okay, so some of the things we're going to talk about, which we've obviously already started, a couple of the random things have come from conversations with our friend Allison. So I'm going to start with a question to all of you out there. If you went to a coffee shop, a tea shop, and you were there to get a nice warm beverage, they have the typical things on the menu. If you saw that one of the things they had on the menu was a cup of broth, a bone broth, a beef broth, a chicken bone broth, is that something you would order? I need to know in the comments of the podcast. Would you order beef broth or bone broth just to like sip on? Because our friend Allison says yes. Sherry and I say
absolutely not.
Now here's the thing. Broth for us is when we're sick.
Yeah, and like super sick and not able to actually keep like any kind of substance down. And so like for me, like the last time I had just broth is in August when I had the flu and I didn't eat literally anything for like 3 days because nothing would stay down. And broth was one of the first things that I started drinking, aside from water, because it was kind of to test to see like how my body could handle literally anything besides water.
As far as a beverage, broth to me is a transition beverage.
Right.
Where it's like, okay, I've been sick. I'm keeping some water down. Now let me try some broth, see if I keep it down. And then I will move on to like something with substance.
Like a
now,
chicken noodle soup or something like that.
Maybe one of the reasons that we feel like broth is for sure not a beverage is that that's how we've used it. And what I think about is how for you, and you've said this before, that when you taste chicken noodle soup, you're like, no, I don't want chicken noodle soup because that's for when I'm sick. Like your brain associates chicken noodle soup with sickness.
Correct.
And our brain associates broth with like sickness. It's a transition beverage.
Right.
And so I want to know, that's just us. Our friend Allison disagrees. I think she's 100% wrong. But I do want to know from you guys, would you order a cup of broth
at like a tea shop or a coffee shop?
Yeah, it's not the only beverage on the menu. There's lots of beverages. Is broth one you would choose?
Like I'm going to get tea or coffee or hot chocolate or just plain old water before I get broth.
All right, fair. We'll let the LeggLife community weigh in on this. But that conversation led to some other conversations about just different foods we've eaten, different things we've grown up with, different, like, because different families have different things. And the kind of the illustration I'll start with is Miracle Whip.
Miracle Whip.
Okay, let's talk about this because there are Miracle Whip families and there are mayonnaise families. Mm-hmm. There are some who do both. Sherry Beth, tell me how you grew up.
Growing up, we were Miracle Whip. So mayo was Miracle Whip. Like that was just the understood. If mayo was on the grocery list, if I said I want mayo on my sandwich, my mother makes a chocolate mayonnaise cake, which with regular mayonnaise is probably disgusting. But with Miracle Whip, which is literally just sugar, it's delicious.
So if you were having anything and you said mayo,
it was Miracle Whip.
It was Miracle Whip.
Yep.
Do you think you all even had mayonnaise in your house?
Oh, I highly doubt it.
Really?
Yeah. I do not remember ever having. In fact, I feel like when we moved up here, that was like kind of a thing with us because you would get actual mayo, and I was like,
yeah.
Oh, this is disgusting. Like it took me a while to like get used to the taste of actual mayo, but then
this is crazy. So
here's the thing. Yeah, so we were back in Indiana last November.
Yep.
And we
we're at a grocery store.
We were at like Kroger,
yep.
Right? And I was trying to think where we were. And we were hungry, and so we got like a chicken salad sandwich to share.
Just from like the deli. The Kroger, the already pre-made Kroger chicken salad sandwich deli. Yep.
And we each took a bite, and we were both like, what?
I was like, I think there's something wrong with this.
I don't think this is good. I think there's something wrong with it.
And then I saw the light bulb go off in your eyes, and you instantly knew what it was.
They made it with Miracle Whip because we were in the freaking Midwest.
I was shocked. As soon as you said that, I was like, oh, that's right. Because here's the thing. So we were a mayo family. Now, I actually like Miracle Whip. I don't dislike Miracle Whip, but for me, it had probably been 15 years, maybe longer, since I had Miracle Whip. And I'd for sure never had chicken salad made with Miracle Whip. And so for me, I took that bite and I was like, I don't know what I'm eating.
Yeah.
And you were just like,
something tastes off about this. What's wrong with this? And I was like, oh, it's made with Miracle Whip.
I'm so intrigued by that. We were a mayonnaise family. I don't remember Miracle Whip. I mean, I remember having it from time to time, and always liking it. I will say I don't think I would ever use it in tuna salad, chicken salad, or egg salad. For me, those are like traditional mayo things.
You know what it's really good on?
What?
Bologna sandwiches.
Okay, well, it's funny you mentioned that because the next thing on my list here was bologna.
Yeah.
So let's talk bologna sandwiches.
Bologna sandwiches. Okay, so growing up, it was always white bread.
Yep.
Bologna.
Amen.
Miracle Whip.
Okay.
Some cheese, maybe. Ketchup usually.
Oh, see, we differ there.
I
Go
know.
ahead. No, please
I
continue.
know. But yeah, bologna and Miracle Whip, and
Wow.
usually white bread.
So, for me, I also grew up with bologna, primarily in one instance. So my dad did construction growing up, and I would go to the job site with him a lot. And I remember that a lot of our lunches were bologna and cheese sandwiches. Ours was white bread, bologna, cheese, mayonnaise, mustard, and maybe iceberg lettuce.
Yeah,
You do ketchup on yours. I'm not a ketchup on my bologna guy.
I know.
But I will say to this day, bologna sandwiches, especially if they're made like that, are one of those foods that I take a bite, and if I close my eyes, I am a little kid on a job site with my dad, and I just like smell sheetrock and like drywall.
I love it.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. The other thing I remember about bologna sandwiches growing up is I remember my dad always eating bologna sandwiches with bean and bacon soup. Have you ever had bean and bacon soup, or like bean with bacon, whatever it's called?
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan.
Okay, so I am a huge fan because of the nostalgia, and I just remember like dipping the bologna sandwich in bean and bacon soup, Campbell's specifically.
Yeah, yeah.
Now,
Let's stay on the bologna train
I know,
for a
right?
minute here.
Are you going fried?
Yeah, I
I
am.
knew you were.
Okay. You are still not a huge fan of the fried bologna. However,
Nope, I was gonna say.
you are. I think you're coming around.
Every time you make, so the first time you were like, I think I'm gonna make a fried bologna sandwich.
And you were like, what in the actual hell is wrong with you?
I was like, you're gonna make a frickin' what? Oh, I'm sorry. What? We eat our bologna sandwiches cold, like the Lord intended.
the Lord.
Like the Lord intended.
No.
and
Fried bologna, man.
You fried it, and I was so skeptical.
Yeah, you were.
And I took a bite, and I was like, oh, wait a second, it's really good.
I know. Now, I still have not gotten you to like where I'm like, hey, I'm going to make a fried bologna sandwich. Do you want one? And you're like, yes.
But
You will almost always take a bite of mine.
and instantly regret not asking for one.
I know.
But
Because it is delicious.
it really is good. And here's the thing. I mean, I know it's a little bit different, but basically bologna is like a flattened out hot dog.
Correct.
And so if you like a hot dog, of course you're going to like a fried bologna sandwich.
Right.
There's not a lot of difference there. The one thing I do want to try, I saw this on TikTok, and I think it was a Snoop Dogg fried bologna sandwich.
With like the really thick cut.
It was a really thick cut
Yeah.
bologna, and I think like thick cut onion and mustard.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that and just being like, oh, I want to try that.
Correct.
So we should add that to our list.
I agree. Yep. I'm just a big fan
A fried bologna?
of fried bologna.
Okay. Would you rather have, for the rest of your life, you have to get rid of a cold bologna sandwich or a fried bologna sandwich? What are you getting rid of? What are you keeping?
Oh, no.
Yep, sorry. I don't make the rules.
I mean, you just did.
Okay.
Oh, no. Man, they serve different purposes and they taste so completely different.
They do taste very different, I agree.
And so it's like choosing between a ham and a turkey. Like, I don't know.
Get rid of turkey. That's easy. That was,
I mean, I would agree with that, but like, but they're very different things, and I don't feel like it's fair to have to choose between them.
so you want to choose?
I'm not going to choose. You can't make me.
You guys. I want to apologize for Sherry.
I'm also an Enneagram 5, and please don't make me choose.
Yeah, like when I ask you the question, what is your favorite blank? Or choose
I immediately
between these,
panic.
You do, you panic. You freak out. That's very difficult for you.
Yep.
Even things like give me a top 3 or top 5. Nope, can't.
Cannot.
All right, so
Unable.
are we okay to move on from bologna?
I have a segue
A segue? Into what?
into our next one.
Spam?
Yeah,
Yes. Let's talk spam.
fried spam.
Let's talk spam.
Heck yes. We were a spam family. We didn't have it all the time, but
Okay.
we had it often enough that I can still taste it. Similar to fried bologna, I think. But yeah, we would just fry up spam for breakfast or have it on sandwiches or also with Miracle Whip. Yeah, like we had spam.
So I don't remember my mom. If you guys know my mom's super healthy, has always been my whole life. It's like when I was a kid buying cereal, I could have a cereal as long as sugar wasn't the first ingredient. So I don't remember my mom. She's also never been a big meat eater.
Yeah.
So I don't remember her eating Spam. I do remember eating Spam with my dad. And I always remember liking Spam fried over the cold.
Oh, yeah.
Part of the reason is like, think of the noise that Spam makes that. When it like the gelatinous meat cube.
It's so gross.
Like coming out of the container.
It's the same thing as that disgusting cranberry sauce from the can.
How dare you? And so, Spam fried up is really delicious.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so good. And did you know that Alaska is one of the largest Spam consuming states in the country?
Because of our Polynesian population?
No, actually.
Oh.
You would think Alaska does have a big Polynesian population. And obviously, like, the largest state with Spam consumption is Hawaii, primarily because of its shelf life.
Oh, that makes sense because it's like...
Think of how many places around Alaska, like refrigeration's an issue. You need things that last a long time. And so, in our rural areas, Spam is one of those things that just lasts a long freaking time.
That absolutely makes sense. I do feel like we always had Spam in like our emergency kits, like our tornado kits.
That's because it ain't ever going bad. When was the last time you had Spam?
Oh, gosh.
Could you even tell me?
No.
I actually can tell you mine. I had Spam in the month of December.
You did?
I had a Spam masubi.
Oh, yeah.
If you guys don't know what that is, it is basically like rice with a thick, delicious piece of Spam, and then
wrapped in seaweed.
Wrapped in seaweed, kind of a Hawaiian treat. And I had one of those. They're popular all over Anchorage, and it was the first time probably in years that I had Spam.
Yeah.
And it was so delicious. Now I will say one thing about Spam. That thing is salty as heck.
Yes, it really is.
Holy cow. And you almost have to prepare yourself for it because your sodium numbers instantly skyrocket.
It's basically a salt lick.
Oh my God, it is a salt lick. All right, Sherry, staying on the food topic for a minute. Thinking of nostalgia growing up, I referenced cereals that I was allowed to have. When you were growing up, was cereal something that was in your house? Like, was that like a regular breakfast for you guys?
Yes. Often not the sugary cereals.
Okay, so what did the Amstutses have?
I feel like we had Cheerios.
Classic.
Sometimes we would get like the Honey Nut Cheerios.
Okay, fancy.
But like not super often. And sorry, my leg is cramping really bad right now.
Okay, I wondered. I was like, Sherry, what are you doing?
I'm trying to move it without getting out of my chair. Sorry.
Oh my gosh.
So if my voice goes a little bit weird, it's because my leg is cramping.
You guys,
holy crap!
You want me to talk? You want me to talk
Yeah,
my
you can't.
cereal?
I'm gonna stand up.
While Sherry stands up to stretch her leg. Oh, this is so funny. I told you that my mom wouldn't let me have cereal where the first ingredient was sugar. I think the closest thing I got to sugar cereal was like honeycombs. She let me get honeycombs, which I did love. And then I really liked Raisin Bran. Still like Raisin Bran to this day. You mentioned Cheerios, obviously Cheerios. But I do remember when I moved out and started making my own money, I remember sugar cereal being one of those things where it's like, oh my God, wait a second. I can buy Cocoa Krispies.
Lucky Charms.
I can get Lucky Charms. It's like, that was my splurge when I moved out, had my own money, was just going down the cereal aisle and being able to be like, you know what? I'm only buying cereals where the first ingredient is sugar, which is probably part of the reason I still have a weight problem to this day. Maybe I should have listened to my mom.
Well,
first of all, let's check in with you. How's the leg cramp?
it's hanging on, but it's okay.
You sat back down?
I sat back down
after
my
getting
leg
up
is
and
stretched out in front of me.
Getting up and stretching a little bit. You know what? You know what's funny? We're gonna actually stay here.
Oh no.
Let's talk cramps, leg cramps.
Oh gosh.
So, I'm a little surprised because you normally don't get leg cramps.
I don't get cramps often. And I think part of that is because my muscles are loose like the rest of my body.
Oh, because of your EDS?
So when they tighten, my body's like, what do we do? Oh God.
Interesting.
Yep. They're intense though.
Me, on the other hand, my whole life, I feel like I've always gotten leg cramps, especially
like Charlie horses.
Charlie horses in my calves.
Yeah.
A lot of nights I'll like shoot out of bed. Sherry's like, "Where are you going?" I'm like, "I got a leg cramp. I got a leg cramp. I'm gonna die." Like,
well, and you know what's funny? It's like, I mean, now that we've been together for 2 decades, I actually can tell when you're just getting up to like use the bathroom versus getting up to like stretch out a leg cramp, because
funny.
The speed with which you get out of bed.
Oh, and when I get a leg cramp,
he gets a cramp and he shoots out of bed.
I wish Guinness was here to track me as the world's fastest man.
Getting out of bed.
I am out of bed in like a millisecond.
Yep. It's. I'm always like, oh no, are you okay?
Oh my god.
And then he like paces the bedroom. Yeah.
Not you though.
Not me. I really don't get a lot of leg cramps.
Except for in episode 152 of the LeggLife Podcast.
Where apparently, my gosh, I was like, oh no.
You
Here it comes.
You had just mentioned the fact that we've been together we've been married for 19 and a half years.
Yeah.
This year will be our 20th year. At dinner tonight, we were laughing because, it's Valentine's, and so there are a number of couples at restaurants, either on first dates or second dates. And Sherry and I love listening to those conversations because here's the thing: we've been together so long. I think that we really do a great job of communicating with each other, and we love listening to other couples on dates.
And so, there was a couple right behind me.
Yep.
That we were convinced if it wasn't their first date, it was second or third, maybe. Like they were very much still in the like getting to know you stage.
Yeah, a lot of the conversations were it felt very much like feeling each other out.
A little bit stilted.
Yep. Talking about like their likes, that kind of stuff. And so Sherry and I were wondering, we're like, how many dates have we gone on? We're trying to think about that. Like, obviously there's no way to know. But, one of the difficult things is that when you don't have kids, it can be like, oh, well, every night's a date night. But we meant like intentional dates where it's like, you know what, we are going out, not just like we're going to randomly grab dinner because it was a busy day, but like this is an intentional date night. And so we were thinking that over the course of, 19 plus years, it's probably happened 4 times a month.
I think we figured 2 to 3 times a month.
Which feels low.
Very low. I do
me.
feel like that's low. I do feel like we probably do actual date nights more than that.
Yeah.
But I was trying to be conservative.
Okay, so what we said was like, okay, so 19 years together. It's actually more than that.
Just married. That doesn't include the 2 years
dating
before we got married.
It's roughly 228, 230 months. It is more than that. And so if you figure, let's just say 3 times a month, that would be 684 dates. Now, realistically, it's probably north of 800.
I think so, probably, yeah.
Intentional dates. And so it was just funny. We were saying like how different the conversation and questions have changed from that date number 1.
Right.
From our first date at Denny's, where I got a moons over my hammy,
and stopped at a gas station to get you a rose.
To now where we're on date 800 plus.
Yeah.
And we're listening to people on their first date and the conversations and the questions. And that was just fun to think about. Like, my gosh, how many dates we've been on.
I know. And like, I mean, it didn't even occur to us to like track. I mean, why would we? But like, there's a part of me that's like, man, I would love to know like that number so we like celebrate our 1000th date or something,
Yeah, it would have been fun to like, I don't know, fill up a jug. Like every time we go on a date, we put something in a jug.
Yeah.
And it's like, it fills it up at 1,000 or something, to like know that. But obviously when you get started, you don't ever think like, oh, I'm going to count the dates, because that kind of sounds a little like obsessive.
It sounds a little bit weird.
A little bit weird.
But like looking back, that is just something that my brain is like, oh, I would love to have an actual number for that,
I wish I knew. So probably I'm gonna guess ballpark 700 to 900 dates.
Yeah.
But then here's the thing. When we go on a cruise, would you consider each of those nights intentional dates?
Intentional date. Huh?
Because if you would, I bet our number's probably closer to 1,000.
Yeah, probably. Or like on vacation. Or,
see?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just so hard to know. But anyway, it was fun tonight to listen to other couples on what we think was their first date when we are way down the road.
Yeah.
Sherry?
Yeah.
We've covered spam. We've covered bologna.
We had a leg cramp.
We had a leg cramp. We've covered Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty good for this one.
I think that's good.
You guys, this was just a bit of a catch-up episode. Not ketchup like the condiment that Sherry puts on her bologna sandwiches.
Heck, yes, I do.
It's so gross.
It's not gross. In fact, it's almost always on my bologna sandwiches when you have a bite that you still like.
I know.
Thank you very much.
Here's the problem. In my mind, it's gross because I didn't grow up doing it. But remember earlier when I said, like, hot dog. Bologna's basically a hot dog.
You
of
love
course,
ketchup on your hot
that's
dogs.
what I mean. And so,
Yeah.
like, I say it's gross, yet I obviously don't mean that it's gross.
Right. You're contradicting yourself.
Well, that's fine. You guys, remember, the question we want your response
Yes,
from is about
broth.
broth. Is broth a drink in itself that you would order?
No, it is not.
So curious to know if we are in the wrong on this.
I know. So here's what we need you to do.
What do we need them to do, Sherry Beth?
We need you to go to YouTube,
Yes,
type in LeggLife Podcast,
do it.
subscribe to this channel if you have not.
Heck yes.
Ring the little bell so you know when we post, because we try to do it every week, but we don't always.
Not always.
And then find this episode 152
152.
and leave us that comment
Broth.
and let us know where you fall on the broth as a drink.
Broth is a beverage. I'm so intrigued to know you guys' thoughts. You guys, we love you. Thanks for hanging out with us. We appreciate you guys listening to us, being a part of our community. We will see you next week on the LeggLife Podcast. Bye.
Bye.